に何が見えるかわかりますか？そう、村です。
Ado. We as J-pop fans, we all know her and love her. To death even.
結婚してください。ちょっと。
But for those of you who don't know her, she's a J-pop singer that has one of the most powerful and recognizable voices in the world, I'd say. In this video, I'll go over key factors of how to produce beats or instrumentals Ado style, while following along with one of my own Ado beats, and explain the process in a way simple for anyone to understand. I'm no music teacher, but I do have ears that function properly, and I'm sure you do too. And that's all we really need here. Nothing crazy, I promise. Before we start, I want to lay down some key fundamentals and concepts to keep in mind as I explain this Ado beat process. First off, Ado's style isn't exactly defined by the instrumental she's singing over, but rather her voice. So am I gonna teach you how to sing like Ado? No. Due to this factor, you'll have great versatility in what kind of beat you decide to make, as Ado herself has that same versatility with her voice. You've got songs like Show, which is done in an ethnic reggaeton pop style, then you've got Odo with a rave pop style, then you've got Usewa and Backlight in a traditional J-rock style, and then, yeah, you get the idea. Notice how what all of these songs have in common is a strong, aggressive tone voice. I want you to quote-unquote listen to that voice play over your track, and let that voice guide it as you make it. How would Ado sing over this? Would she be quiet in this part? Would she be screaming in this part? And so on. For my track, I went with something dark, J-pop, J-rock sounding, inspired by Aishite and Backlight, which I'll get to after I'm done yapping in this section. Just bear with me here. Alright, so next we gotta talk about minors. No. We're talking about music. In order to get that strong, dark, emotional feeling you hear in Ado songs, you'll want to work in minor scales to achieve this. Of course, this isn't a hard rule that you have to work in minor. You can work in major as well. It's just more tonally suitable to use minor to get the aggressive and powerful feeling that Ado presents in her songs both vocally and instrumentally. The last fundamental I want to talk about is dissonance. Ado songs incorporate a lot of dissonance, which is used to tint the vibe or feeling to emphasize the strong emotions that Ado puts behind her songs, and it's really easy to do. If you don't know what dissonance is, it's basically non-harmonious elements such as off-key notes, off-beat notes, abnormal rhythms, anything that just sounds off. But when you use it just enough and just right, you can add so much more depth, emotion, and flair to your track, and all you have to do is break the laws of conventional music just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, I'm done yapping here. Let's get to the beat now.
Every day is a mystery.
First things first, let's talk about the sound selection. As I mentioned earlier, this beat is inspired by Aishite and Backlight, so it sounds like a Halloween waltz fused with aggressive electric guitars. Pretty Ado-like, I should say. Ain't that right, Ado? Oh, okay, fine, be that way. So here's the selection of sounds I'm using for this beat, starting with the orchestral. Then the electric guitars. And finally, we have the acoustic drums. Now, you don't have to use the same selection of sounds for your track, this is just what I wanted to use. But you do need the electric guitars, that is a must. You're making J-pop and you're not using electric guitars, what are you even making at this point? For chords, I played around with the scale, which is C# minor here, until I found a progression I like, something with a taste of dark, evil energy, to match the aggressive Ado vibe I'm looking for in this beat. So here I've got this progression with the funk guitar, and here's how it sounds. Now those are some nice chords, but we gotta give it some rhythm, so let's do some key switching magic to add fast palm mutes in between. And with that chord progression, I'm gonna transfer that over to power chords for the distorted guitars. Here's a cool layering trick I like to do with my power chords. I like to take one guitar and duplicate it each panning left and right, and then take another guitar with a stronger tone to sit right in the middle, then route it all to a mixer channel and compress it, making it sound fuller and wider, essentially quote unquote unlocking the power chords and just making them smack. Yep, sounds pretty dark and evil. Now let's spice it up even more with some melodic elements. What I mean by melodic elements is the melodies that support the chords and give them direction. Let's start off with this piano melody, which, no joke, I literally came up with while I was in the shower, and that's how this whole beat came to mind. And for the later part of the beat, I add a few more notes to add some more energy, you know, more fuel for the fire. Here's another piano, but it's playing a waltz pattern to give it that Halloween type of feeling. I also added this choir to give it even more of that dark, evil energy. And this right here just might be my favorite part of this whole beat, is this Celeste bell, and it's just so... And this last element is the strongest of them all. It's the guitar lead, which plays the same melody as the first piano. These are all the melodic elements I've got, just a bunch of cool melodies to complement the chords and add on to the overall dark, evil energy. So now let's talk bass. About 80% of the time, give or take, the bass in an Ado song, just like any other J-pop song, is just a bass guitar. So that's what we're gonna use. Okay, I know this looks kinda crazy, but let me explain. So there's actually 3 bass rhythms here. I just put them all in one pattern to save time, and each rhythm serves its own purpose of maintaining a certain level of energy in the sections where they're being played. Starting with the first, this bass rhythm just follows along the same rhythm as the waltz piano has. I keep trying to record and there's all these planes flying over my house. As I was saying, this bass, same as the waltz piano, and has a low amount of energy to it. Next, this bass rhythm follows along with the root notes of the chords, and it has some more notes, with some being an octave higher, so now we're ramping up the energy of the bass. And then this last rhythm over here... Are we dead ass? Are we dead ass? This last rhythm over here is super groovy, following the root notes with lots of movement and octave switching and the energy at its highest. When I go into the arrangement section of this beat, it'll make more sense why I made 3 bass rhythms, so stay tuned for that. Now let's move on to drums. Now, since this is a J-rock J-pop beat, I'm using your typical acoustic band drums, and just like the bass, I've got different rhythms for them as well. This first drum rhythm is slow-paced with spread out kicks, the snare on the 3 beat, and the hats riding alongside. this next drum rhythm is fast-paced, kick on every beat, snare on the 2 and 4 beat, closed hi-hats all in between, and the juicy open hat which you're about to hear. And now that we've got the drums done, along with our chords and melodies and bass, it's arrangement time, baby! Woo! But before we get to it, let's take a short break so I can talk about the Discord server. We call it the studio, a home for many artists and musicians and producers and fun, silly people overall.
What? What? I'm sorry! What?
Do she fuck with you or do she want the cannabis? Middle class parents working hard but she want cannabis.
Bro, you got so fucking straight, bro.
So if you fit any of these categories or you just want to hop in on the silliness, come join in. Link in description. Now let's actually get to the arrangement. Sorry for edging you this long. Arranging instrumentals for J-pop in general can be pretty wacky because the producers, they like to be complex and do all these beat switches and breaks and all this complicated stuff like every 2 seconds, oh my god. But there's always this one common arrangement structure they tend to follow, which applies to other songs as well. This structure being introductory chorus to introduction to verse 1 to pre-chorus to chorus to bridge to verse 2 to pre-chorus, to chorus again, and to the ending. Something you've heard me mention a couple of times is the word energy, which is important here when you arrange your track. You want to be able to control the level of energy throughout your track to make it pop and stand out, and this J-pop arrangement style is very good at achieving that. So over here in the introductory chorus, you just want to play a quick bit of the chorus so that we start the track off with high energy just to give a preview of what this track entails. Then we drop the energy in the introduction, keeping a minimal amount of elements. Look, I even added a piano glissando. Now we're in the verse, so we want to start building energy. Here I added the Celeste bell, guitar, bass, and choir, and towards the end I did a tape stop effect to serve as a transition for the pre-chorus. Now transitioning to this pre-chorus from the verse here is like jumping from a 2 to a 6 in terms of energy levels, because now we introduce the guitars, the slow drums, and switch to the second bass rhythm. And now in the chorus we let it all out, switching to the fast drums and the third bass rhythm and the crazy piano melody and adding that spicy lead, getting our energy all the way up. Now we're in the bridge, where all that energy we just let out, poof, down to a 0, even less than the introduction. Going into the second verse and pre-chorus, we ramp up the energy a little faster, introducing the guitars more earlier on. Now we're back to the chorus again, let all hell rip loose. For the ending, I'm gonna do what I always do, which is just abruptly ending it, but I'm gonna leave a long lead note playing as like a last artifact of the track. Works just like a charm. And just like that, we're done with our Ado beat. Ado, how are you feeling about this? Oh, thank you so much for your input, it means the world to me. Now let's go ahead and play this full track.
Snoofy.
Oh, you're still here? How about you follow my Instagram and like and subscribe and continue listening to the full beat, link in description. And yeah, that's about it. Have a wonderful day, dear viewer, and I'll see you again soon.